Hey, what's up, Cowboys Nation? Day 2 down here at the 2024 NFL Combine. Nicole Hutchison alongside Nick Harris, and we obviously got a chance to finally hear from the players today. Quite a few, honestly, and especially that linebacker position. We'll talk about the defensive linemen in our next segment, but the linebackers, how much of a need should this rank amongst other positions of need?
Yeah, whether the Cowboys, they fill a spot at the linebacker position in free agency, they're still going to have to go get one in the draft, most likely. And you look at this linebacker class, you look at the top with guys like Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M, Peyton Wilson out of North Carolina State, all those guys being here in Indianapolis this week. It's a really good opportunity for the Cowboys to be able to meet with some of these top prospects and find a potential fit on that second level for Mike Zimmer's defense.
Yeah, a lot of the coaches and even Stephen Jones yesterday did acknowledge Marquise Bell playing very well at the linebacker position, but they just need some size. They need bigger guys. Let's just start off, obviously, with the formal interviews first. We've had linebacker Junior Colson out of Michigan, who had a formal interview with the Cowboys. Tyron Hopper from Missouri had a formal interview with the Cowboys, and Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M, a formal interview with the Cowboys as well. Out of those guys, who stood out to you the most?
I think all three stand out in their own separate ways. You could talk about Junior Colson first. He's a big physical run stopper, pushing towards 250 pounds. He's a guy you could put in that second level and trust to be able to know what's going on in the backfield and be able to account for the run. I think that's the biggest focus whenever you are looking at the linebacker position and what the Cowboys need this offseason. Find a guy that can stop the run like that. You look at Edgerrin Cooper, while he does have some of those same tendencies in the run game, it's maybe not as good as Colson, but he's more versatile around his game. He can cover tight ends, he can cover running backs coming out of the backfield in the receiving game, really high instincts as well. And then Tyron Hopper being able to play for the Cotton Bowl winning Missouri Tigers last year and playing for Eli Drinkwitz's defense, he was able to kind of have that versatility similar to Cooper in that way. Both of those guys in the SEC, both of those guys meeting with the Cowboys this week. Yeah,
I got a chance to talk to Edgerrin Cooper and asked him, about his meeting with the Dallas Cowboys. He said it went really well. He's excited just about the possibility of going to the Dallas Cowboys. But when you talk about a guy like that, he touched on his versatility. What does that add to that linebacker room?
Yeah, having that type of versatility, I think if you have a guy that can still stop the run, but also be able to play in the passing game, because that's what Marquise Bell had done so well in that second level. But since he is a safety, he was lacking having that run stop ability. So if you can bring in a linebacker that pairs both of those things really well together, then you bring that coverage instincts that Bell brought, and then you also are able to get into the backfield as well.
What about Tyron Hopper? What does he bring? What possibilities does he bring as far as physical attributes and just skills overall?
Yeah, being able to play in the SEC, you had to have some sort of physicality to you as well. He did a really good job during his time with the Tigers and being able to account for everything, be the quarterback of the defense. I think of these linebacker prospects, he's probably the more interesting one when it comes to off-the-field leadership, but also on-field leadership and being able to potentially wear a green dot at some point in his career. I think that type of presence in the locker room would obviously be huge for this defense, but he always knows what all 11 players are doing on the field. Having a guy in the second level like that's obviously big, and then mentioning his versatility earlier, that's another part as well.
Had a couple of notable no interviews as well. Did any of those kind of catch your eye or kind of concern you?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not targets on the draft board. Peyton Wilson is not meeting with the Cowboys this week. He has had two major knee surgeries and a shoulder surgery during his prep career, but that doesn't mean that the Cowboys aren't looking at him. Also, Cedric Gray out of North Carolina, and then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson. Those guys not meeting with the Cowboys this week, but they had the Senior Bowl to meet with the Cowboys, and they're obviously going to have future opportunities with 30 visits and things of the such.
Still a lot more to cover coming for you in the next couple of days, but we've still got to talk about the defensive linemen. We'll be having that coming up right after this as well, but that'll do it right here for day 2. Talking to you for the Cowboys.